Well, it was even better that we scored some runs. You know, our offense came alive to put us in that position. And we got some big hits. Started out with Willie's 2-out base hit, which is always, you know, a good thing. And, I mean, you had some guys had some good days. And nice to see Ben Revere, you know, get a couple knocks. Maybe he's rolling. Got a couple yesterday. And then Jason Worth looked like he's heating up, which is a good thing. And then Rendon is heating up. So he's driving in runs, you know, key runs for us. And then we'll go to the bullpen. I mean, that was a big job that Matt Belisle did. He came in with bases with nobody out in first and second and had a very tough Chisenhall hit into a double play and got out of the inning unscathed. And so, yeah, our bullpen did an outstanding job. You know, Kelly went one in a fraction, and then Melanson, you know, did what he knows how to do best. He got some very tough hitters out. And so it was a very good ball game. That had been kind of heartbreak to get those runs for us and Gio and lose, but we won the game.
What happened to Oliver Perez out there that you guys had to go check on him?
I'm not sure. His back tightened up on him, so he said he had back, well, I guess diagnosed as back spasms. So, you know, we're checking him out now.
Worth was kind of seemingly everywhere today, Worth.
Yes.
I noticed in that with Perez, when you guys were checking him out, it was you and it was all the infielders and Worth that come in from left field. But,
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Did you notice that?
I didn't even see him. Maybe, I don't know, Dr. Worth on the spot.
Did you ever, when you were an outfielder, did you ever take part in the Mountain Conference?
No,
Back in your playing day?
never. It's too far to run back to my position. Yeah, well, you know, Jason, I mean, he takes his time.
You guys had one home run, some singles, a couple of doubles today. Is that the type of offensive balance you guys have to see?
Yeah, I mean, big time. I mean, because we have been depending on the home run quite a bit. And so, you know, that's a very good question. We like to have some offensive balance, you know, keep the line moving, first to third. You know, that's contagious. And whoever's behind is like, hey, man, I'm going to join this hit parade too. And guys holler all the time from the dugout, keep the line moving. And that's what we did today.
When you guys have Rendon swinging the bat the way he has lately, what does that do for your lineup with your offense?
Well, it does a lot because, you know, he can use the whole field. He can hit the ball to right, like he did today, right center. He can hit the ball to the ballpark, and then he doubled down the line. And now I'm beginning to know why I hear the fans hollering all the time. Double, what's they say?
2 bags.
Yeah, it's only 2 bags. And so, man, I'll take a whole bunch of those 2 bags. But it's nice to see him swinging good and getting, you know, clutch hits for us.
Worth obviously has this streak where he's reaching base,
Mm-hmm.
but he's also thrown in his runs Is he good at understanding, especially at the top of the order, when it's time to try to get on base, when it's time to try to drive?
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's been around long enough to understand how to do almost anything in the order. And, you know, he's a veteran. You know, he struggled early. You know, glad to see him come to life. And, you know, even though he struggled, he still has 15 home runs. And, you know, he assured me that, you know, he's a second half, you know, hot weather player. And that, boy, that sure, you know, like see him get hot, and we need a couple other guys to get hot. But if you have somebody at the lineup, in the top of the lineup, you know, getting on base, and the pitcher has to throw to Murphy in the stretch, and, you know, that's the objective.
What did you think of Gio's?
Well, he was throwing the ball well. You know, there's a couple, you know, pitches that, you know, were questioned a little bit, you know, because he had a guy late and then threw him a breaking ball, had another guy early, and then threw Lindor the fastball. It's all part of, you know, maturing as a pitcher and reading the swings, you know, from the opposition. And so, you know, he had real good stuff. And the fact that he got out of the first inning, like, that's usually his nemesis, and that showed me the kind of stuff that he had today, and he pitched, well enough to get the victory. And so now he's one game under 500, and his next outing that we try to get him to 500, because that was a long ways from where he came from.
Dustin, Lyle hasn't gotten as many appearances as a number of other relievers in your bullpen.
Yeah.
He's been pretty consistent over the course of the season. What type of impact overall has he made on this?
Well, he's one of the leaders of his club and one of the leaders in the bullpen. And I've always said you need leaders at different areas. The bullpen, bench, on the field, pitching staff. And he's one of the leaders on his team. He's been there before, and he's been to the World Series before. I mean, he's unfazed by pressure. And like I said, when we got him, if he can pitch in Colorado, you can pitch it anywhere. He's not throwing quite as hard as he was in Colorado, but he knows how to pitch. He knows how to pitch to the situation, and which is evident tonight on the double play he threw up. So, he knows what he's doing out there. He's a big part of our team.
Given the issues that you guys have had in the outfield this year, Harper's struggled,
Mhm.
Year was hurt and struggled, Taylor struggled. Forget about Jason's numbers. What does it mean to the team and to you just haven't been able to post up as consistently as he has been?
Well, I mean, he shows, the young how to post up. You know what I mean? Because when he goes out there, he's not always 100%. And now in the days of modern baseball, something's wrong with a couple guys, and even if it's minor, then they have a tendency, not to play unless they're 100%. But Jason shows you how to go out there and get the job done. And he's old school, big time. And so it's good to have a guy like that to show these guys the way on how to play and how to be a professional.
Dusty, what have you seen from Brian Goodwin?
Well, I'll tell you, Brian has a lot of talent. He's really gotten it together. He went to Venezuela, I think, last winter, and he's come a long ways. He had he had a good year in AAA. He's confident. He can play all three outfield positions, and everybody was so happy for him tonight to get your first hit, because everybody, remembers. Serger said, "Hey, you remember who your first hit was?" And I asked Serger, and he said his first hit was, Randy Johnson. And I asked him, "Did he remember his first strikeout?" And he told me, yeah, he gave me a name, that I didn't know, which wasn't as impressive as Randy Johnson. But it was Randy at the end of his career in San Francisco. I've forgotten he was with San Francisco. So everybody has that moment that you get your first hit, and you'll never forget it.